All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Top 10 Toys. I actually wasn't planning on doing one this week because it was Christmas and I didn't think I would have time, but my wife convinced me that I kind of needed to do one with, Wonder Woman dropping on HBO Max streaming as well as in theaters this weekend. So I figured I can pull together something really quick and just look at some good, pretty cool Wonder Woman toys. Yeah, my wife got this also for Christmas for herself, this weird little board. She was playing around, so she did this up real fast for me. So let's put that away because we don't need that anymore. And let's get right into this list. So again, it's going to be a quick little video. I'm just going to cover 10 different Wonder Woman related toys. Some will be Wonder Woman herself, and some will be some, again, ancillary characters that may or may not be a part of Wonder Woman 1984. I still haven't had time to watch the movie yet. I'm filming this on December 26th. Going to try to shoot for on Sunday afternoon maybe, or Sunday night to finally catch that movie. So going into this without any knowledge of what occurs in that movie, apart from what I've seen in the trailers, I'm just throwing out, again, 10 Wonder Woman toys that are selling all pretty well, as well as things I just think are pretty cool. So just please make sure you like and subscribe to both channels, both my personal channel as well as Tales from the Flip Side, where this video will be housed, and hopefully you like what you're seeing. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to throw them into the comments section, and I will take it under advisement. This entire topic came through as a suggestion, so I am always open to taking suggestions. While I have a list of things I want to cover, I'm always open to take something that might be topical or something that you guys out there just want to see as a subject. So again, throw them at me. And without further ado, let's just get right into this list because we got a few things to look at here. So at number 10, we're just going to come right into it with Super Friends. There's this DC Direct Super Friends set. Now, this is based off the Super Friends animated series, and it's a 2-pack combo pack that has both Wonder Woman and Cheetah. How could it fit more perfectly than right now with the movie out? Granted, the Cheetah here is more the classic look with a more looks like costume more than an actual cheetah lady, but it is what it is. Super Friends was one of my cartoons growing up, so I'm happy to find this onto this list. Now, this comes in at number 10 because it's only averaging about $105 or so, with a high of about $130. For sales, from what I could find, there's actually none up right now, so whatever was out there is already sold. Maybe some more come to market in the next few days with the popularity of the movie, but I can't say that for certain. So right now, it's barren, but it's about $105, $106 to pick one of these up right now. So to move that on then to number 9, this is one I've kind of mentioned before and covered a little bit last week, and this is the Superpowers collection. And sticking with that same time frame, this Wonder Woman from the Superpowers collection, while she didn't make the top 10 of all of the Superpowers, she makes the top 10 of her own list. So this one's about $115 or so. 114 thereabouts, and there was a high of 270 for an unpunched card. That's where they actually didn't put the hanger hole all the way through. So this isn't something that's easy to find still in the box. So it's gonna get you, over $100 easily, on their own as well. But if you're looking right now for one of these, you can get one anywhere from like $70 to about 250, depending on condition and just sellers. I know there's different variations. There's also a short card or like a slim card version where it's a bit thinner, doesn't have all the whole full card with it, so that's also kind of cool. They seem, in Wonder Woman's case, to sell for a little bit cheaper than the regular. Don't know why. Most of the other Superpowers, it's kind of a 1-for-1. You don't really see much of a difference, but from what I saw here in some of the sales data from the last 3 months, the slim cards are a little bit cheaper than the full-size cards. So take that for what you want. So moving this on then down to number 8. Number 8, we have the MegoComic Action Wonder Woman. Now, the Comic Action is this tiny little figure. It's squat looking. People sometimes confuse this with the Pocket Heroes, which was a line that Mego did a little bit later. But their first run at this, they did these Comic Action Heroes. And some of these, this is a Wonder Woman you can see, it's just her by herself. But they did do a 3-pack version as well. Where you can find, I think she was with Penguin and somebody else in that same pack. But again, not the most detailed of figures. I had a few of these when I was growing up. They're very small. They're not very posable. They're very, the plastic isn't the best. Not a lot of detail in the faces or even the the paint schemes. So it is what it is. But it's still a pretty neat little figure, especially if you can find one on the card. But that's not going to be an easy task. So this is about $125 right now, high of about $165. Currently, you could find them listed for about $150 to about $290 in the package. So again, something like this still being in the package is a pretty tall order, because this, I think, was early to mid 70s that these Mego little comic action heroes came out. So with that said, let's keep it moving. Let's go to number 7. Now, this number 7 is an interesting one to me, because you have to kind of look it up a little bit strangely. Now, this is the DC Universe Classics figure of Cheetah, but there's 3 versions of her, and this would be the way they list it is either naked or nude. Not that she's naked, but she just doesn't have an outfit on. She's a full-on Cheetah person, so she's just not wearing an outfit on top of that. So you have to search. Just be careful if you Google it, because there's a lot of weird stuff that might come up if you do that. But if you look, there's this version here, which is by far and away much more expensive than the regular version, which has her in like a still Cheetah form, but with like a black suit. And then there's another that kind of harkens back to that suit where she has the cat ears on there, like the number 10 installment from the Super Friends cartoon. So there are 2 other versions, but it's this version here where it's just full on Cheetah, no costume whatsoever. That's the one that hits the list, and it's about 182 averaging, and that's just with the one sale that I could find in the last 3 months. But current listings for this thing are between $400 and $550. So even though this one's sold at $182.50 right now, if you want to get one of these in the package, you're looking to spend at least $400. So it ain't cheap, but it only hits number 7 because that one sale is where it is. So until those other ones sell, this one may move up the list if I were to do this later, but as of right now, it's number 7. So moving on, we're going to roll right into number 6, and kind of but going back to Mego. These are the larger, full-size, the cloth clothes versions. I want to say they're like 8 to 12 inches tall. I don't remember exactly. I had a bunch when I was younger. I don't believe I had Steve Trevor, but Steve Trevor here is our number 6 installment. Comes in with this little white flight suit kind of thing. He's got this little brown cap that comes with him as well. Yeah, it's just not an easy figure to find, especially in the case. So he's averaging about $240, and I think there's like 4 sales that I found over the last couple of months, with the high hitting about $400. So Steve Trevor, who, I mean, yes, he doesn't look like Chris Pine here, but this was based off of the Lynda Carter series. That first series for Wonder Woman with the Migos had Lynda Carter front and center on the card package, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes, but they had to take her off after this first run of them. So this Steve Trevor figure here, again, it's hitting at number 6, and the ask right now, there's one up, I think, and it's $406. So if you're looking for one in the package, that's what it's going to run you. So it's hitting the higher end. I don't know if it's just because the movie's hitting and out right now, but right now the asks are much higher than most of the sales that I've seen over the last couple of months. But isn't that always the case for things? So with that, let's keep it rolling and hit the top 5. So at number 5, we're sticking with the Mego, but this is, again, as I noted, not the Lynda Carter version, but the next series that came after it. I don't know if it was the next year exactly, but it's definitely the next release version where they kind of took Lynda Carter's picture off of the packaging, and this is just the new flyaway action version of Wonder Woman. Even her outfit doesn't exactly match. I don't know if it's because they lost the rights or if there's something to do with that, but the outfit itself doesn't match the previous outfit for her Mego. You can see this one has shoulder straps on it. Its design's just a little bit different, and no Lynda Carter on the package. Still, this is not easy to find. So this one is moving at about $255 on the average, and the high sale was just under $300. Right now, though, if you want one, again, the asking prices are a little over $300 to up to $575 for this particular version. This the non-Lynda Carter, later release version. Again, still in the box. These Migos are not easy to track down, at least not that I can see. And also be very careful, because there are some re-releases that have come out. Not that I think anybody will really try to pass the re-releases off as the originals, because the boxes aren't one for one or even the same. But just be careful out there, because a lot of things come through with 30-year anniversary releases and what have you. Just be careful, when you're out there buying, even the loose, because some of these things you might not be able to tell right off the bat what is original and what's not. So be careful. That's why I'm sticking just with the box stuff and carded for the most part. Some of this box stuff, they might have been opened and then placed back into the box. Some of these sales, I didn't go through with a fine-tooth comb to make sure these were all, NRFM, which I just recently learned means never remove from box, but it is what it is. I try to get as much sales data as I could for you guys. So moving it on, without getting on that little sidetrack, let's go on to number 4. And number 4, we have the Hot Toys version of Wonder Woman. And this was from the Batman versus Superman movie. And this is just a gorgeous figure. Like, it's almost like a statue more than it is an action figure. but it is gorgeous. I wish I could get one of these, but this was not cheap to begin with. So the fact that it hits the list at number 4 because it's averaging just under $300 at about $296, that is impressive. But it was about $235 to begin with. So it's not a lot of appreciation in value because, again, these things are expensive to start. But you get a lot for your money if you're really into this level of detail with the hair and just the face mold is just perfect. It is a perfect representation of Wonder Woman here. The box is kind of cool, but you don't really get to see anything inside. So it's kind of like almost like a slipcase kind of like cover, so you don't get to see everything inside. But when you look inside, there's extra hands, fists, weapons, all kinds of extra little goodies for you, which also, if you wanted to sell, you could get decent money just for little pieces, because that's what some people are looking for. They're just looking for pieces they might have lost, or just duplicates and things that they want to do in their own, with their own figures, just to kind of customize them as much as they can. So with number 3, we're going back to that Mego series again. I know you might get tired of hearing about Megos, but I love them, and they're expensive. What can I tell you? So they're populating this list, especially with Wonder Woman. So we're going back to her here, and this is the Lynda Carter version. This is the first release version of Wonder Woman, where you can see Lynda Carter on the box, and you've got the Diana Prince. She's got the little, the closer to the representation of her costume from like the show. Even you don't see those thick shoulder straps, as you might have noticed on that the next release. As you can see, Wonder Woman, there is no shoulder straps. I don't know what they call it. I'm not a fashion guru, so I don't know what you would call that type of a top, but you can see it's closer to what she wore on the show. So this one here, hitting at number 3, is averaging about $420 to sale, in the box, with a high of about $535. Right now, there's none up for sale of this version. I guess people must have cleaned it out of all the entire stock with I guess, again, excitement over Wonder Woman. So we're going to do one more Mego, and this one's hitting the list at number 2 because of the prices. I didn't even know this one actually existed. I didn't know they made a figure of Nubia back then, but they did. And this Nubia figure is not easy to find. She hits the list because she's averaging about $427 in the package, with a high of about $540. So it's pretty close to the Lynda Carter one, but it's still a nice, it's not as easy to find. There were 5 sales that I found over the last 3 months, but right now, if you're looking for one of these, they're listed, I think, at $550 to $600 for the Nubia figure. It is pretty cool. Like you can see, it's got all that armor on. You got the sword, you got the shield. It's a pretty cool figure. Again, I'd never seen one. I didn't even know it existed. But even though I was a collector, I was a kid who played with toys, and I just didn't have that one. So I didn't know it existed. Now I do, and I kind of want one, but I can't pay that price. So take that for what it is. So that leaves us with one more. Number 1. Number 1 is the DC Total Heroes Wonder Woman. Now, this one is a surprise to me because I didn't even know that there was this line and why this line is so expensive, but it is. I mean, you can see the Jim Lee art on the cover here. It's that silver look, so this comes kind of closer to this revamp here in the late 2010s, the teens. And yeah, this looks almost like the New 52, I guess, version of Wonder Woman, more with the silver rather than the gold for the metal that she's wearing. But this figure, only one sale over the last 3 months, and it's about $500. Only one sale. Right now, there's a few up, but they're still asking $400 to $500. So that was not an outlier sale. This is just an expensive, hard to find piece. And again, one I didn't really know. Heck, my son even might have one tucked away here. I mean, it is a pretty cool figure, but it's not the best mold in the world. It's not bad, but I don't know what makes this worth what it's worth, apart from, I guess, rarity. Collectors want to collect everything. So that could be my only guess of why this figure is so desired over the rest and hitting those high prices. So that's our number 1, about $500 for Wonder Woman, and a figure that I don't even think is that old, 10 years or so. Not too bad. So stick around for a second. We're going to hit up the honorable mentions because I only got a couple. Just a few things. I just kind of wanted to hit a couple things that almost made the list. And then this first one here is just one that I remembered, and I just wanted to take a look to see what it was doing. And this is the Toy Biz version of the DC superheroes. And they kind of did almost not really quite a remold, but close to a remold of those Superpowers figures. So they were a little bulkier. But you can see they had the gold. This started with Batman 89, because the Batman 89 release of toys all had that gold packaging, and they released Batman. And then from there, they expanded and gave us Superman and Wonder Woman, all these other DC heroes as well, following the popularity of the Batman movie in 1989. So this Wonder Woman, you can see she came with a little string lasso, as opposed to some of the stiffer plastic ones that came with earlier releases. But this thing's pretty cheap. This is not that hard to find. There were a ton of sales. I saw 25 sales of this over the last 3 months that I could quickly find, and they average only about $22. So this is not a pricey figure. This is something that was mass produced. It's not hard to find. It's, again, very similar to that Superpowers. I believe it even has the same superpower action motion of her, moving her arm with the lasso. But there was a high of $44, and if you want one, like I said, it's like $25 to $50. You can find one in the package if that's what you're looking for. Not hard to find at all. Again, not the greatest mold in the world, but it's better than some, but not better than a lot of the pricier ones, unfortunately. So that's my first honorable mention, because, again, I just wanted to mention it because it's something that I remembered, and just wanted to take a look to see what it was doing. So my next honorable mention goes back to that Comic Action Heroes figure that sometimes gets confused with the Pocket Heroes. And this is the Pocket Superheroes version, which came with a little bit of a remold in, I think a couple of years later, where the figures were more the straight up and down. They almost look like the Kenner Star Wars type figures with that kind of, I don't want to say pose, but more of the straight up and down standing pose, as opposed to that squat, almost Masters of the Universe type pose they had in the early ones. Not that Masters of the Universe was much bigger, but just that kind of squat action that is much different than this straight up and down standing pose. Again, the mold's still not the best. The paint jobs aren't that great. Very, very basic. They're tiny figures. They're, again, about Star Wars size. So I had a bunch of these little guys too. They weren't great, but they're still fun to play with. You did what you had to with the toys in the 70s and the early 80s, because they weren't quite what kids have today. Spoiled kids today. But that Pocket Superheroes one almost made the list. It was about $100, $100 in the package, and right now you can find one for $95. I think is listed. So just missed out on the list because that 2-pack was $105. So could have easily snuck in there. So that just leaves me with one more, and this is another Mego, just like that Pocket Heroes was, but this is the Bend and Flex. I'm sorry, the Bend and Flex series. These were little rubber figures that you can kind of pose in any, well, not any way, but you can try to pose in any way that you wanted. I had a few of these too. These weren't great, but again, these were the toys that we had. You can see here that the mold's not the best. That kind of looks like almost like a weird gummy candy, and that's kind of what it is. Even if you look at the back, you can see what allowed them to do some of the bending is these little air hole pockets that gave you some pivot points to bend the. I think there was like a little wire frame inside that tried to hold the pose, but they never held anything, nor could you really move the rubber Bend and Flex figure all that much. But yeah, they tried. They were trying to do something new, and it was interesting. And one of these in the package is about $105. So just slightly more than the Pocket Heroes version. There's none up for sale right now in the package, but actually that was loose because I couldn't find any in the package sales. I'm sorry. Same for that other Pocket Heroes. Those were both loose sales figures. So the Pocket figures, I'm sorry, was $100 for a loose figure, and a loose one's available for $95. This Flex and Bend or Bend and Flex figure, also loose, $106 sales. None up for sale right now for the Wonder Woman one. But as you can see on the packaging, they had a Batgirl version, a Supergirl, and a Catwoman one as well if you were looking. But this is a Wonder Woman list, so that's what we're looking for, and that's what we got. So that's it. That's my Wonder Woman list. Hopefully that was enjoyable for you. I just kind of threw this together really quickly. Hopefully you enjoy it, and I'll see what we're going to do next week. And please, again, like and subscribe to my channel, as well as Tales from the Flip Side. Feel free to comment what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, what you think I could do better. I got tough skin. I can take it. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time.